In 2010, 2K Games and Irrational Games, right off the success of the original BioShock, announced a new video game called XCOM. This was supposed to be a first-person shooter set in the same universe as the tactical strategy game in the 1960s. And of course, this was a big deal among game magazines such as Game Informer, which had huge, long, and detailed front page articles about this game. And there were trailers and pictures released of this game, showing this game as a unique first person shooter where aliens have taken over and you're fighting against them. And there's actually plenty of trailers and stuff about this game you can find online. So, what happened? Well, long story short, you can see from the gameplay footage that they released that there were obvious frame rate issues even in the trailers, and of course, the game went into development hell. So, after the game was in development hell for a long time, meanwhile, 2K released XCOM Enemy Unknown, a tactical strategy game in the series, and this ended up becoming a major success, with high critical reviews and tons of sales. Right after that came out, the game was renamed to The Burrow XCOM Declassified and turned into a straight up clone of Mass Effect. And I mean without any of the good things of Mass Effect either. It was like a bad clone of Mass Effect, with nothing really interesting whatsoever. So how bad could this game be? Well, first off, while this game was in development with Irrational Games, the developers switched to 2K Marin, well known for BioShock 2. Now, while I'll give this game credit, unlike BioShock 2, the PC version actually loads up, it's not very well optimized, and even if you play it on max settings, it doesn't look spectacular whatsoever. I mean, I'm only playing it on medium settings on this video as I only have a GTX 260, and the computer I recorded it on had that GPU, and long story short, my laptop with a 760M does not have very much storage space to record videos with. But enough with that, let's start the review, shall we? Now, the first main problem with this game is that the game relies on autosaves. You know, those saves with the checkpoints and everything. Except the problem with this game is, this game was obviously inspired by, Mass Effect, does not use checkpoint saves whatsoever. Other than an occasional autosave, you are allowed to save anywhere in the game as long as you are not in a battle or near enemies. So now it's time to get to the core of what this game is all about. The game is about you, some guy, who after, let's just say, he gets attacked by some alien in a human body, he then eventually finds out that aliens are invading, has to escape the base, and then ends up in the new US military organization called the Bureau. And the point of the Bureau is to stop all the aliens, pretty much. And of course, keep the public at bay with the alien rumors and that stuff. But anyways, the game takes place in the 1960s and feels a lot like Mass Effect, like I said, because after years of development hell, it's like they lost focus of what they wanted the game to originally be. So instead, the game feels like a Mass Effect clone with a bunch of glitches. As you can see here, this box did not pop in, so I'm literally running into an invisible barrier. And I've had various glitches happen too while I was playing this game. The format of the game is this. You can select missions, just like in Mass Effect, get your squad, which is composed of level 1 generics you hired, just like in Disgaea or Final Fantasy Tactics, and of course go out and attack the enemies with you and your 2 squad mates, who you will be constantly reviving depending on the difficulty level, because they have about as much aim as a 6-year-old in Call of Duty, and they'll be shooting, 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 and they'll always miss. Dialogue in this game is presented either through a dialogue wheel similar to Mass Effect, with fewer decisions you can make, or you can do it through scripted cutscenes, because a lot of the scenes in this game are just pure scripted cutscenes. And you'll see this a lot in the game. While the game does have some audio logs, a lot of the logs in this game are text logs. So you can tell this game was in development hell and had budget issues. I mean, unlike, let's just say, Dead Space, where you have like a bunch of text logs, video logs, and audio logs, you've got mostly text logs from what I've played of this game, and maybe an audio log or two. And did I mention the audio logs? You can't pick them up either, from what I could tell. You just push the button next to them. The controls are pretty clunky, and while Mass Effect for the PC was designed with the keyboard in mind, this control scheme feels a little awkward, because instead of having to, well, instead of, let's just say, moving your mouse to the side of the screen and selecting, this game tries to have you make your move in real time. So you have to struggle with the controls while you're trying to hurry up and get, like, let's just say your team healed, or them to attack a certain target, etc. But really, the game feels a lot like Mass Effect. And while I keep saying this over and over again, every little thing reminds me of this game. I mean, this game even has a dumbed down version of the experience system where you get points for killing and you can choose a few unlocks, because like literally every first person shooter that's a single player game has something like this now. I mean, BioShock had the plasmid unlocks. I mean, Dead Space had the other unlocks where you could like buy stuff for your weapon and get upgrades with the power cells. And then you had Singularity, which also had something like that. I mean, there are many games with stuff like that now. The graphics in this game are nothing special, and the game in fact suffers from poor optimization. While the game will run at 60 frames per second a lot on even my old GTX 260 on medium settings, the game does constantly lock up, then load again. Like, I don't know, it'll lock up for like a second or two, and then it'll keep going, and then it'll do it again like a few seconds after that, and then again and again and again, even when there's nothing on screen for some reason. It's weird and annoying. The levels are pretty linear too, and there isn't really much to explore, unlike Mass Effect, which would reward you for exploring the planets. The game does have NVIDIA PhysX options though, if you have a nice NVIDIA GPU. However, I've heard that this will cause major frame rate dips when you're playing the game. The voice acting in this game isn't really good. You play as a dull, emotionless main character who sounds like the Postal Dude mixed with Duke Nukem with the emotion of J.C. Denton from Deus Ex. I mean, even early on, where, spoiler alert, some guy gets killed, he just doesn't seem to give a shit that some guy just got killed. Does he, like, act emotional or anything? Nope. He just acts like he doesn't care. Like, I'm not even kidding. Even when he keeps thinking on the past and his backstory, which has something tragic in it, he doesn't even care. That's how dull and emotionless this main character is. So all in all, what are my thoughts on this game? Now that I've pretty much tackled everything I want to tackle, it feels like there's a lot missing from this game. It just feels like a bad Mass Effect clone with nothing original other than the theme, which is, oh my god, 60s, because there aren't really a lot of first-person shooters that take place in the 60s. Of course, there are some retro-futuristic settings, such as a Singularity and a Time Shift and a Fallout 3 and BioShock and various other games that try to take the past but add more modern technology to it. But you're not really seeing that here, because the thing with this game is, it just feels generic. I mean, look, there's nothing really memorable about this game at all. I mean, look at these environments right now. They look like they're ripped out of Gears of War, except in the 60s. And if you stand this game by itself, it's nothing spectacular. If you put this game next to footage of what this game was supposed to be. It just looks disappointing, like another case of development hell, where the game is in development forever and ends up being a piece of crap in the end. That is what this game is. One of those games. There's nothing memorable about this game. There really isn't. And it's just frustrating. I mean, let's be honest here. If you want a third-person shooter with duck and cover gameplay, actual good storyline, and a lot of role-playing game elements, go buy Mass Effect for like $15 or $10 at your local GameStop. I think it's $10 or $15 or something on PlayStation Network. And if you own a PS3, that is. And it even has a better storyline too. And you won't be spending all game reviving your teammates because they died because they have the artificial intelligence of a rock. I mean, if you want them to use abilities, they'll use abilities instead of just standing there. And this game gets frustrating real quickly. I mean, I'm playing on veteran level, but it's got that artificial intelligence where it feels like it's cheating. It really does. And trust me, Mass Effect is a much better designed game anyways. And especially when you compare this, like I said, to the original version, this game doesn't stand out in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't. Don't buy this game, even if it's like $1. It's a waste of $1. You might as well go buy Daikatana while you're at it. Because trust me, this game is bad. It's got it all. Development hell, poor gameplay that feels like it's copying something. It just does. And I mentioned the cover system's clunky. Stay away from this game. Just do it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.